Mississippi State Bulldogs go to Missouri this weekend, and kind of a weird series, honestly. Just absolutely beat it all over the ballpark on Friday night with a 13-4 win. Shoe was on the other foot on Saturday, and then a tight game with Missouri getting the walk-off when it was all said and done. Chris, what's your takeaway from this past weekend?
Disappointed. We played really well on Friday night. Did not play well, like you said, on Saturday. Just didn't get a good start. Just didn't get out of the gate. And in our situation, pitching wise, it's just hard to, you're saving a couple bullpen guys probably for the next day trying to get the series. So and then we don't get the series on Sunday. So disappointed. Head flight home.
Coach, when you look at Preston Johnson, back-to-back weeks where he's just given up the long ball in spades. So he gave up 4 against Ole Miss, and then another 4 or 5 this weekend against Missouri. Is it just a bad stretch for him, or has something changed for him delivery-wise, mechanics-wise, that's got him giving up these home runs and these numbers?
Well, it's a couple things. It's really not – he hadn't changed anything. He's got to get out the gate better. He's got to come out in the first and have better stuff. And something we've spoke about as a coaching staff. We have played – Preston's a fly ball pitcher, and we've played in 2 ballparks where – man, the wind is. I mean, this weekend it was 20 mile an hour straight out the center. So you're giving up some balls maybe you don't give up on a normal day. But the home run doesn't kill you. It's the 2 HVPs and the walk in front of it. That's where the home run ends up being a big deal. We knew we were going to give up a couple cheap balls over the weekend. It just, they happen to hit theirs when we walked a guy or hit a guy in front of it. Instead of being a solo home run, it ends up being a grand slam.
When you look at this season, a quick look at your resume shows you've been in the postseason. I think 5 of your 6 years as a head coach, or 6 or 7. I'm not sure of the correct number there, Coach. Sorry about that. And you've always had winning records. Has this been the most frustrating season of your coaching career? Just where you at this point?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I said, I think it's been 6 of 7 years in the postseason, and it's tough. It's just you're not used to it. Our kids aren't used to it. These kids have been around a lot of success too, and it's just been it's been a grind. And from some of the injuries, we didn't play well early, and then we've had spurts. But probably the hardest part for me, and I told the team when we got back here in Starkville yesterday, I still feel like we have a good team. We just haven't played our best, and we have some holes and some gaps in there. Some injuries have caused that a little bit, but still, we have the ability to play good baseball, and I'm hoping that happens here over the next couple weeks.
Coach, we were talking to Mike Bianco just a second ago, and kind of asked him, 11 or so games left. Do you talk to your team about what you've got to do to get to the postseason? He said no. He said, guys, no, but we don't talk about it. What about you? How do you deal with that with your team? Say, look, there's a very finite amount of baseball left, and to get where we want to be, this has got to happen, or do you kind of avoid that conversation?
Yeah, we've never had it either. So our kids know. Like you could tell in our dugout on Sunday, our kids were ready to play and they knew. But we haven't spoke about it one time. We just, and I've even mentioned I don't read the rankings. I don't read the RPIs. I mean, just it does no good besides wasted mental energy right now. And it's about us going out and playing. And that's a disappointment for us last week, is we felt like we came off a great series against Ole Miss. Actually, I wasn't disappointed in the way we played on Tuesday night in Pearl, because I felt like we hit a lot of balls well, and just felt like we were really starting to play good baseball. And to have 2, tough games here the last 2 days has been disappointing. But we don't sit and talk the way probably fans talk, and that's what makes it fun as a fan. You get to have all those scenarios, but for us, it's just wasted. It's just wasted time. I mean, ours is about preparing to play really good the next day and get on a roll. Because somebody in the country is getting on a roll. Somebody's going to play good over this last stretch, and somebody in the SEC, because there's about 6 or 8 of us that need to get on a good stretch if we're going to make postseason runs.
One thing I always hear coaches say, you talk about you control what you can control. Don't worry about the outside things. You talk about control the controllables. What's the controllable for you that you feel like your team needs to fix the most quickly going into these final 3 series?
It's about staying invested and staying locked in as a group. I think that's the biggest thing. And, we don't really have a big change in our rotation or our bullpen or our lineup right now. We are who we are. It's about, having good work, enjoy being there, being locked in. Because this time, the last month of the year, you got some teams, man, they're ready to check it in and head to summer ball. And our team's not in that mode right now. They're really prideful and trying. We had great practices last week, and I thought we were really about to take off. So I think those are the biggest things, just keeping them invested, keeping them locked in. Man, there's a lot of pride in this program, and I think that's what keeps them motivated and moving forward.
You never know exactly what you're going to get sometimes in the transfer portal when you bring in a guy. I'm curious what you felt like you were going to get from R.J. Yeager. You're talking about a guy that had, over 200 starts at shortstop at Mercer, and it produced at a really high level. But did you expect this from him this year?
No, not as much. I thought it was going to be something close. And I thought we were going to get a veteran guy who knew how to play. And, the biggest thing about R.J. was he came in as the captain there at Mercer. I mean, just a very mature kid, a kid who had, like you said, played a ton of games. And he was just okay in the fall. The stuff was good. It's a little funky. If you watch that swing, there's some funkiness in there. But, man, he has had a SEC season as good as anybody out there. And he's just handled everything. Even, he had a rough start, didn't play for probably 7 or 8 games early, and just handled it. And when you handle it that way, I think the game rewards that. You're seeing a guy, he's just playing really well.
And, of course, Yeager is sort of the new face of college sports, kind of coming from the portal. I know you're not looking ahead to next season. You've still got games to play. But when you think about it, are you going to be an active participant in the transfer portal, maybe even more so than you've been the past couple of seasons?
Well, we only had, we had it last year, really, is the only one. We've had some grad transfers here over time. But, I would imagine we're going to be in the portal some. I don't want to build a program out of the portal. But because of our injuries, we may have to do a little bit more because when you lose Stone Simmons or Brooks Auger, it's awful for this year. But, man, they don't pitch next year either. So there's when you lose some of those guys, that's what makes it really tough is, how can you get them back? And maybe they come back, but it's just you can't count on it. So for us in the portal, we may have to do it maybe a little bit more normal, but you're not wanting to build your program that way. And I think it's nice to be able to bring in one big guy. And I think what we have to offer, I think kids watch all over the country, and we always, they want to experience, baseball at this level. And then this is an experience for a lifetime. And so, I think it's very attractive for a lot of kids. So we'll deal with it a little bit.
One last thing before we get you out of here. We talk about postseason play. The math. How many games you're probably going to have to win. Do you already feel like you're in postseason play? Do you already have a sort of a win or win or go home mentality with this team entering these final 3 series?
I think so. Yeah, I think you probably have that with our guys. I mean, they kind of understand what they need, and they are showing up ready to go. Like I said, on Sunday you could feel it. It felt like we were trying to, to secure a championship or something, the way we had to come out and play, because you had to get that series. That they had the sense of urgency, I guess is the word you could use there, of just being able to come out and being ready to play. And I think we have that right now. We're in exams this week, but next game we play, school will be over. We seem to always play better when school's out too. So hopefully we can get these guys done with their classes and move into playing this last month of baseball.
Chris, always appreciate your time on these Mondays. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Take care.